My husband's request regarding our horse caught me off guard. Never did I imagine that a seemingly ordinary day on our tranquil farm would transform into an experience that would rattle me to my very core. My husband and I have always nurtured a profound affection for animals, particularly our horse, who has been a cherished member of our small family for many years. There's a soothing quality to his movements, a gentle attentiveness in his listening, and an unspoken understanding that envelops us, as if he knows our thoughts without uttering a single word. Yet, on one fateful afternoon, that tranquility was suddenly overshadowed by an unexpected turn of events. There's an enigma that lingers, a mystery I find difficult to articulate. It began with a gaze from my husband, one that was entirely new to me. There was an undeniable thrill about him, a glimmer of anticipation, as if he were on the brink of uncovering something monumental. He approached me with what he described as a brilliant idea, something he envisioned us doing together with the horse. Initially, I found myself smiling, thinking it was yet another one of his whimsical schemes for an entertaining video, or perhaps just a fresh routine for the horse. As he delved deeper into his explanation, it dawned on me that he was entirely serious. This notion carried weight, far from being innocuous. It was a moment that caused me to pause and ponder. What precisely are we on the verge of undertaking? My heart is drawn to him. I have faith in him, yet even the most profound affection has its boundaries, particularly when something feels amiss. I could sense the gentle warmth in his voice as he uttered, "Just trust me, it'll be amazing." Perhaps what unsettled me the most was the intensity of his belief, a stark contrast to the uncertainty that enveloped me as I stood there. The horse lingered in stillness, oblivious to the mounting unease that hung in the air. Yet even he appeared to feel that something was amiss. In that fleeting moment, as my gaze shifted from my husband to the camera he had meticulously arranged, a singular question resonated within me. Am I on the verge of stepping over a threshold from which there is no return? I lingered for a moment, caught in a dilemma of whether to step closer to the camera or to retreat into the shadows. My husband had already started to fine-tune the angles, discussing the lighting and how effortlessly everything appeared. He exuded a serene composure, his focus unwavering, as if this entire scenario was just another day in the life. Yet, within my chest, a tightness began to weave itself, as if my body was sending me a warning before my mind could fully comprehend it. As I observed his deliberate movements, a realization washed over me. He had been weaving this tale for some time. From the very beginning, we have stood together as one. From mending fences to nourishing the animals, we embraced every moment of life on the farm. And I cherished that quality in us. He was the visionary, forever conjuring up fresh concepts to add a spark to our lives, while I remained the steady anchor, ensuring those visions stayed within the realm of possibility. Yet, on this occasion, this notion felt off to me. It was neither the horse nor the video that mattered. It was a tale of determination, a journey into the depths of ambition, where he tested the limits of his resolve. Driven by the conviction that greatness was within reach, he continued to express sentiments such as, "This will get," captivating an audience as if no one has ever embarked on such a journey before. I began to ponder whether this was truly about sharing a delightful farm experience, or merely an attempt to capture the spotlight. I cast my gaze upon the horse, tranquil and unwavering. Yet his eyes were wide with alertness and his ears flicked back, attuned to the world around him. Once upon a time, there was a figure who, it was as if it were attuned to our energy, and that only deepened my unease. "What is it that you wish for me to do?" I finally inquired, my tone soft yet resolute. He gazed at me, a smile gracing his lips as if all was well, and uttered, "Nothing to wild. Simply embrace your true self. The connection between you and the horse, that unique bond, it will be evident on camera." Yet there was a certain quality in the way he spoke. It was a moment, a brief pause, a flicker of uncertainty that stood in stark contrast to his typical self-assured demeanor. The camera was already rolling, the lights ablaze, and in that moment, it transformed into something far beyond just another video. It loomed larger, more powerful, as if we were perched on the brink of an unknown realm we had yet to fully comprehend. Contemplated and considered, I adjusted my stance, casting another look at the horse before turning my gaze back to my husband. His gaze was fixed on me, probing, anticipating, and for a fleeting moment, uncertainty washed over me. Whom I truly had my gaze upon any longer? I sought to calm my breath, yet my thoughts surged with unrelenting questions that I couldn't dismiss. What was the reason behind his elusive words? What was it about this moment that hinted at a deeper gravity beneath his facade? I observed. He strolled over to the tripod once more, making subtle tweaks, as though capturing the perfect shot held great significance. More than the atmosphere lingering between us. In the stillness of the barn, the only sounds were the gentle shuffle of the horse's hooves and the subtle hum of the camera. creating an atmosphere thick with anticipation. The atmosphere was thick, as if a hidden truth was on the brink of revealing itself. I glided my hand softly along the horse's neck, anchoring my spirit. This horse was more than just an animal. He was a cherished member of our family. He had stood by me through it all. Through the stillness of quiet evenings and the intensity of loud arguments. Through moments of laughter and those days when I simply needed someone to be there beside me. And now, he found himself ensnared in a web of confusion. Grappling with the unknown. My husband's voice pierced the stillness. "Step right up and take your place," just as we rehearsed before. In that moment, I paused. Caught in a web of uncertainty. We hadn't truly rehearsed a single thing. He had shared thoughts, indeed, but never anything quite this detailed. My legs danced, almost out of. As I moved closer to the place he had indicated, it felt like a familiar routine. The horse stirred. A flicker of unease coursing through its frame, as if it could feel the weight of an unseen tension in the air. Indeed, he had every reason to feel that way, for within me, I sensed it as well. "Share with me once more the tale of our journey," I inquired. I sought his honesty, a clear explanation, yet all he offered was a simple "trust me." Two words that once wrapped around me like a warm embrace now weighed heavy, pressing down with an unexpected force. As I gazed upon his face, amidst the concentration, there lingered an elusive essence, a whisper of something more. Something I couldn't quite put into words. I found myself pondering whether this was truly about us, or if it was merely an attempt to demonstrate something to another. Perhaps to those wandering through the digital realm, perhaps to his own thoughts. A flicker of hope lingered within me, yearning to trust him once more, just as I always had before. To release the uncertainty, yet a change lingered in the air. He seemed lost in his own world, oblivious to my words. He was too engrossed in crafting something that resembled a grand spectacle, rather than a genuine connection between us. As the horse shifted nervously beside me, it mirrored the turmoil brewing within my soul. He approached the camera once more, softly calling my name and urged, "Give a little smile. It will feel more organic." I made an effort, yet my mind was consumed with the question, what unfolds if I continue down this path? And what might await me if I choose to turn back? I stood there, grappling with the weight of the moment, every fiber of my being taut with anticipation. The barn, once my sanctuary, now loomed before me like an unwelcome stage. A performance I never consented to partake in. My husband's voice guided me along the way, serene on the outside. Yet beneath lay a current of urgency, a force that demanded attention. "Come a bit closer," he beckoned, gesturing towards the horse with a flourish of his hand. "We are on the brink of our destination." Just on the brink of inquiry, I hesitated, fear gripping me at the thought of what the answer might reveal. The horse moved once more, acutely aware of my unease, his ears flicked back, tail twitching. And I softly placed a hand on his neck to soothe him. It wasn't solely my perception that sensed the change in energy. He certainly did. Creatures possess an innate sense, always aware when the world around them shifts in an unusual way. At this moment, an unsettling air lingered all around. I cast my eyes upon the camera once more, its tiny red light flickering as if it were an ever-watchful eye, capturing not only the fleeting moment but also the creeping shadows of uncertainty that slithered beneath my skin. I cast my gaze upon my husband once more. He was utterly absorbed, fine-tuning angles, scrutinizing the lighting, lost in his own world. Yet, it wasn't the sort of fervor that stirred my soul. It was all-consuming. And that was the moment I understood this had transcended our story. It was never truly about the video. It was about mastery. About how far he could nudge me before I ultimately stood my ground. "Shall we delve into this topic together?" I inquired gently. He kept his gaze fixed downward. "We shall complete this section first." His words flowed effortlessly. Yet I could sense the underlying impatience lurking just beneath the surface. It felt as though this shot was essential for him, required my collaboration to demonstrate something significant, perhaps to the universe, perhaps only to himself. Yet, uncertainty lingered within me, casting doubt on my ability to press onwards. "Not in this manner." The horse released a soft snort, shifting its weight and nudging me gently. I took a misstep to the side, my hand finding support on the sturdy wooden stall door. My breath hitched in my throat. My heart thumped with a fervor that eclipsed the soft drone of the camera. All was coming together, his burden, the shadow of my fear, the horse's discomfort. We found ourselves at the brink of an unknown, and uncertainty loomed over the path ahead. It was on the brink of tipping over, yet I was aware of this. A tension hung in the air, thick and palpable, as if the very fabric of reality was on the verge of unraveling. Once that moment arrived, there would be no turning back. As I gathered my composure, seeking to soothe my racing heart, a sound pierced the silence, causing every fiber of my being to come to a standstill. A gentle click, From the shadows of the lens. It was barely perceptible. It was nearly imperceptible. Yet I recognized that sound all too well. It was more than mere recording. My husband had activated the live stream. My stomach plummeted. At first, I found it hard to believe. There was no forewarning. No warnings given. There is no opportunity to retreat. He had taken to the stage without a word to me in an instant. This transformed into something far more significant than a mere video we could erase or modify. As the events unfolded before their eyes, an audience was captivated, witnessing the moment as it transpired. The crimson light, pulsating rhythmically on the camera's edge, had transformed. It was more than merely a record icon. Once upon a time, there was. A tale unfolds. Hold on, I declared, my tone cutting through the stillness of the barn, resonating with an intensity that felt almost too loud. As the curtain up, he averted his gaze, merely tweaking the tripod with a feigned indifference. As if my presence had faded into the background. It's fine, he replied hastily. Simply continue onwards. You're doing wonderfully. No, I said, my voice rising with conviction. Did you really go live without giving me a heads up? In that moment, he lifted his gaze, and for the first time, the truth revealed itself to me with striking clarity. This was not a blunder. It was crafted with purpose. He had woven this into the fabric of his design. He understood that my agreement was unlikely. So he never offered me the opportunity to respond. He relied on the weight of the pressure, the gaze of the audience, the lens of the camera, and the significance of the moment to propel me forward. It had to resonate with authenticity, he remarked, his voice steady, almost nonchalant. They engage more when it feels authentic. The word struck me with great force. Not performed. This was my existence, not a mere act. And now, a crowd of unfamiliar faces was observing my every move. Strive to maintain their poise, observing the strain that eluded their complete comprehension. I found myself laid bare, a sense of betrayal washing over me. The horse sensed it as well, ears pinned back, hooves restless beneath it. I attempted to soothe him once more, my voice a gentle murmur. Yet I could feel my own spirit wavering. I found myself adrift, unable to anchor amidst the chaos that surrounded me. I stepped back, voicing my disagreement with the unfolding situation. You have ventured into uncharted territory. He lifted his hands as if it were just another ordinary moment. Indeed, it only takes a matter of moments. Come on, you've faced greater challenges before. This is merely a fleeting moment. Yet, it was far from nothing. It was a moment of trust fracturing, captured in real time for all to see. The true twist lay not merely in his decision to go live. The audience began to chime in, their thoughts appearing in real time, words dancing across the screen. From my vantage point, they remained shrouded in mystery. Yet fleeting glimpses danced before my eyes. There were those who found themselves in a state of bewilderment. Others appeared to be entertained. Yet a handful, perhaps too many, expressed their worries. The air was thick with an unspoken tension, palpable to all who were present. They were not immersed in a heartwarming tale. They found themselves immersed in a scene that was unsettling. A glimpse into the rawness of reality. And then, the most unsettling moment arrived. My phone buzzed in my back pocket. Time and again, messages flooded and friends, family, all reaching out, inquiring about what was unfolding, checking if I was all right, wondering if this was all part of the grand design. At that moment, the true weight of the situation began to sink in. He attempted to offer me comfort once more. Yet the moment had passed. The crowd was swelling, the tension was mounting. And now, it was no longer solely about him and me. It was about the eyes observing, the judgment taking shape. And the boundary he had unmistakably crossed, never considering that I would dare to resist. Yet, he was mistaken. I refused to remain there, mute, merely for the sake of capturing a perfect moment. Not any longer. I stood there for a moment as if time itself had paused, enveloping me in a stillness that contrasted sharply with the chaos around. The live stream continued its relentless flow, comments pouring in like a river, while my husband maintained his facade of calm, striving to keep everything in check. Yet, deep within, a transformation had taken place. I strode confidently towards the camera, indifferent to its gaze, and switched it off with a decisive motion. In an instant, the screen faded to darkness. The tale has come to a close. Stillness. He appeared utterly astonished. What is it that you are up to? He inquired as though I had just shattered the entire world around us. No, I said firmly, my voice steady yet trembling. What are you up to? A decision was made in my absence. You treated our life as if it were a carefully crafted narrative. It felt as though I was merely a piece of your narrative for a fleeting moment. Silence enveloped him. And then, he let the facade fall away. I figured you'd be on board with it, he remarked. A casual shrug accompanying his words. Individuals cherish genuine expression. Your feelings were palpable. It truly happened. It wasn't yours to share, I retorted sharply. This transcended the mere presence of the horse or a charming tale. This was my heart laid bare. And you didn't even inquire. He parted his lips as if a torrent of words was about to spill forth. Yet he hesitated, falling silent instead. Perhaps he came to understand it, perhaps not yet. I chose not to linger for him to come to his own conclusion. I strolled by him, making my way to Max, our horse, who was shifting restlessly on his hooves. I caressed his neck, murmuring gently, anchoring myself in the one spirit that had not sought to transform my existence into a spectacle. And that was the moment when the final twist unfolded. While I was unfastening Max's halter to grant him the freedom of the pasture, my eyes caught sight of something hidden within his saddlebag. A small envelope, unexpected and uninvited, appeared before me. I eased it open, taking my time. Within lay a folded note, inscribed in the familiar script of my husband. The words were succinct yet haunting. I understand you noticed the messages. I simply couldn't allow it to be shared with the world. This video was meant to captivate their attention. My hands quivered with anticipation. What tales do you have to share? What secrets lay beneath his surface? It transcended the horse and the live stream. There was an essence beyond the surface. And now the true tale was only just unfolding. I stood there, the note cradled in my hands. As my thoughts swirled like a tempest, my heart raced within me as I grappled with the meaning of what I had just encountered. What tales? What secrets lay beneath his surface? I turned to face my husband, who had remained silent, his gaze fixed on me, a blend of confusion and guilt swirling in his eyes. What does this signify? I inquired, my voice scarcely rising above a whisper. The truth bore down on me, a heavy presence that I could not ignore. He let out a heavy sigh, turning his gaze aside for a brief moment before finally locking eyes with me. It's not what you imagine, he murmured softly. I sought to shield you from harm. I never intended for you to discover it like this. Yet, he paused, grappling with the quest for the perfect expression. There's a secret I've been holding close, waiting for the right moment to share. A shadow that could cast darkness over all. The revelation struck me with a force unlike any I had experienced prior. He had been concealing a secret from me the entire time, yet it was more than merely the live stream. It was more than the urge to generate ideas, to explore new horizons. It was more profound. It was a tale woven from the trust we had nurtured and the secrets he had guarded. For reasons that remained shrouded in mystery to me. He advanced a step closer, his eyes filled with a silent plea. I believed that by drawing your attention to the video, to the horse, you would remain unaware. But I was mistaken. I apologize. I shook my head, tears beginning to gather. What transpired between us? What became of trust? He lowered his head, a picture of defeat. I stumbled along the way. I believed I could manage it, that it wouldn't escalate to this point, but I was mistaken. We lingered in that moment. What seemed to stretch on forever, the quiet that enveloped us was heavy with words left unsaid. Yet, deep down, I understood that returning was not an option. Everything had shifted. The connection we once cherished now seemed delicate, and despite my deep desire to mend it, I understood that healing would require patience. Rebuilding trust was essential, not only between us but also within my own heart. Following an extensive dialogue that evening, we reached a consensus to pause for a while. We sought a sanctuary to unravel our thoughts. Distanced from the prying eyes, free from the weight of expectation. Though the path was fraught with challenges, there were moments when retreating just a little was the key to forging ahead. As the days unfolded, a gentle mending took place. Weaving together the frayed edges of what once was, we navigated the challenges, gaining wisdom from each experience. We embraced our missteps and discovered fresh paths to bond, not for the lens, but for one another. Max, the horse, stood by us, a steady presence. A gentle reminder of the essence of what truly mattered. The video remained unshared. And ultimately, it became a lesson for both of us to embrace. Zero quantity of, no amount of content or followers could ever take the place of the trust and love we had nurtured together. It was never about the applause. It was a tale woven around us. As I gazed into the horizon, I understood that the journey ahead would require patience. Yet, I had discovered one undeniable truth. At times, the tales that hold the greatest significance are not those we reveal to the world, yet cherish the ones we keep dear within our souls.